Have you ever poured your heart into helping someone only to be met with indifference or even outright disrespect? You hold the door for someone and they walk past without a nod. You go out of your way to assist a coworker only to be met with a snide remark. Moments like these make you pause and wonder, did I do something wrong? Is my kindness worth it? Before you start questioning your goodness, take a step back. The problem isn't your kindness, it's how, when, and to whom it's given. Stoic philosophy teaches that kindness, far from being a weakness, is one of the greatest expressions of inner strength. However, kindness without wisdom or boundaries is a recipe for being taken advantage of. This discussion isn't about discouraging kindness. Rather, it's about transforming your generosity into a powerful force that reflects your self-worth and values. Together, we will unpack the timeless lessons of Stoic philosophy and explore how to practice kindness in a way that earns respect rather than diminishes it. Every moment of this reflection holds the potential to reshape how you approach kindness, ensuring it becomes a strength no one can ignore. 1. When kindness works against you. Imagine John, a neighbor who is always ready to lend a helping hand. If a friend forgets their keys, he immediately goes to deliver the spare set, even if it means skipping dinner. If a neighbor's fence breaks, he puts aside his own tasks to fix it. At first, people are very grateful, thanking him warmly for his generosity. But as time goes on, something changes. His kindness begins to be expected. People no longer thank him as much, and when one day he says no because he is too busy, he is met with criticism. Instead of understanding his need for rest, they feel disappointed in him. John begins to wonder, do people even appreciate my kindness anymore? This story might sound familiar to many of us. We give and help, yet sometimes it feels like others take our kindness for granted. So, why does this happen? The issue is not the kindness itself, but how we practice it. When kindness becomes a habit or an expectation, it can lose its meaning. The key is learning how to give kindness in a way that doesn't leave us feeling used or unappreciated. The ancient Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul is dyed the color of its thoughts." This means that our actions are shaped by what we think and believe. If we are kind because we fear rejection or want approval from others, our kindness becomes dependent on their reactions. In this case, we give to get something in return, whether it's appreciation, approval, or a feeling of being needed. This way of giving can leave us feeling empty or resentful if our kindness is not appreciated in the way we expect. But if our kindness comes from a place of self-awareness and personal values, it becomes a source of strength. When we act kindly because it aligns with who we are and what we believe is right, we are less affected by how others respond. This kind of kindness is not about pleasing others, but about living in a way that reflects our true selves. Let's look at another example. Sophia is a dedicated employee at a large company. She often stays late to finish work, takes on extra tasks, and never complains. At first, her hard work is praised, and her colleagues appreciate her commitment. But over time, something shifts. Her coworkers begin to expect her to stay late, and her boss assumes she will always take on additional work. One day, Sophia refuses to stay late because she needs rest for her health. Her boss seems disappointed, and her coworkers feel annoyed. They don't understand why she is no longer willing to sacrifice her personal time. That's when Sophia realizes something important. Kindness without limits does not earn respect. It creates endless expectations. People begin to see her as someone who will always give, and they stop recognizing that she has her own needs and boundaries. Her kindness is no longer seen as a gift. It has become an obligation. This is a dangerous place to be because it can lead to burnout and resentment for the person giving. If we are always kind without taking care of ourselves, we can start to feel taken advantage of, just like John. Stoic philosophy teaches that true kindness is not about constant sacrifice. It requires balance and wisdom. Setting boundaries does not mean you are unkind. In fact, it shows that you value yourself and your needs just as much as others. Boundaries protect your kindness from being misused. Without limits, kindness can lead to resentment for the giver and entitlement for the receiver. For example, when you say no to someone because you need rest or time for yourself, you're not being selfish. You are simply taking care of your own well being so that you can continue to be kind in the future without feeling drained or resentful. True kindness is about knowing when to give and when to step back. It's about offering your help and support from a place of strength, not from a place of fear or obligation. The key lesson here is this: give with an open heart, but set clear boundaries. Your kindness is a gift, not an obligation. When you offer kindness with purpose and self respect, you not only protect yourself from burnout, but you also ensure that your kindness remains valuable and meaningful. By setting limits, you teach others to respect your time and energy, and you help them understand that kindness is something to be appreciated, not taken for granted. In the end, kindness is most effective when it is not endless or unconditional. It should be given thoughtfully and with balance. By practicing kindness in a way that respects both others and ourselves, we can create a healthier, more fulfilling way of giving. 2. The fine line between kindness and people pleasing. Imagine Mark, a father who always puts his family first. Whenever someone in the household needs help, Mark is there without hesitation. He works long hours at his job, spends his evenings fixing things around the house, and uses his weekends to drive his kids to various activities. At first, his family is grateful for all the hard work he does. They appreciate his efforts and his dedication. But over time, Mark's willingness to help becomes an expectation. His family starts to assume he will always be there for them, no matter what. One day, Mark is exhausted from working hard all week, and when a family member asks for his help, he says no. Instead of understanding, he hears complaints, "You always help. Why not now?" In that moment, Mark realizes something important. His unconditional devotion is no longer inspiring respect. It is creating an entitlement. His kindness, which once felt like a choice, has now become something that is simply expected of him. This situation might sound familiar to many of us. We often offer kindness without thinking about the impact it has on ourselves or how others might start to take it for granted. When we give too much without setting limits, our kindness can be misused or even exploited. The problem is not the kindness itself, but the way in which it is practiced. Stoic philosophy teaches that kindness should be intentional, thoughtful, and balanced. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." This means that our actions and behaviors are shaped by our inner thoughts and beliefs. If we are kind because we fear disappointing others or want to be seen as helpful, our kindness becomes dependent on others' approval. In this case, we are giving to get something in return, whether it's praise, affection, or acceptance. This kind of kindness can leave us feeling drained, resentful, or taken for granted if others don't show the appreciation we expect. But when our kindness comes from a place of self-awareness and personal values, it becomes a true source of strength. If we are kind because it aligns with who we are and what we believe is right, our actions are not dependent on how others react. We are not looking for approval, but rather, we are giving because it feels right to us. This form of kindness is stronger and more sustainable because it is rooted in our own beliefs and sense of purpose. Consider Lisa, a dedicated nurse who always goes above and beyond for her patients and coworkers. At first, her hard work is noticed and praised. Her colleagues admire her for staying late, taking extra shifts, and doing whatever it takes to help others. But over time, Lisa's efforts become an expectation. Her coworkers begin to assume that she will always be available and willing to take on more work. One day, Lisa decides to take a break and focus on her health. She tells her team that she can't help out this time. Instead of understanding, she faces criticism for not being as available as she once was. Lisa realizes something important. Her kindness, which was once freely given, has turned into an obligation. By giving without boundaries, she has created a situation where her kindness is not appreciated, but instead expected. This is a common experience for many people who are always the ones to help, but never take time for themselves. It's important to recognize that kindness without limits does not earn respect. It often leads to endless demands. Stoic philosophy teaches that kindness should be practiced with mindfulness and purpose. Setting boundaries doesn't mean you're being selfish. In fact, it shows that you value yourself and your time, and that you are aware of your limits. Boundaries protect your kindness from being taken for granted or exploited. Without boundaries, kindness can turn into something that others expect from you, and this can lead to burnout and frustration. When you set clear boundaries, you are not denying others help, but rather offering it in a way that is sustainable and respectful to both yourself and others. It's not about saying no to others out of selfishness. It's about honoring your own needs so that you can continue to give with a full heart rather than feeling drained or resentful. The key takeaway here is this: kindness is most meaningful when it is practiced with purpose and balance. Ask yourself before agreeing to a request, does this align with my values? Am I giving because I truly want to, or is it because I fear disappointing someone? These questions help you assess your motivations and ensure that your kindness is genuine rather than driven by fear or obligation. When you give with purpose and respect for your own needs, you protect your kindness and ensure it remains a valuable and meaningful gift. By setting boundaries and practicing mindfulness, you can continue to offer kindness without feeling taken advantage of. In the end, kindness should enrich both the giver and the receiver. It should not leave you feeling empty or exploited. In conclusion, true kindness is not about giving endlessly or without limits. It is about offering your help thoughtfully, with respect for yourself and others. By practicing kindness with wisdom and balance, you can maintain healthy relationships and ensure that your kindness remains a genuine act of goodwill. 3. Being firm without losing your true self. Imagine Jack, a father known for his boundless kindness and enthusiasm. If someone needs help moving, Jack is the first to show up with his truck. When a coworker feels overwhelmed, Jack willingly takes on extra tasks to help them out. At first, everyone appreciates his generosity and dedication. They recognize how much he is willing to do for others, and they thank him for it. But over time, something shifts. Jack's willingness to help starts to be seen as something that is always available, no matter what. His kindness becomes an expectation rather than a gift. One day, Jack says no. He's exhausted from the constant demands of work and family, and he needs a break. But instead of understanding, his friends and coworkers are disappointed. They criticize him for not stepping up when they needed him. In that moment, Jack realizes something important. His boundless kindness is no longer being appreciated as much as it was before. Instead of inspiring gratitude, it has created a sense of entitlement. People now expect Jack to always be there for them, no matter the cost to his own well-being. Jack's story is not unique. Many of us have experienced something similar. We offer kindness and help to those around us, but sometimes it feels like people take it for granted. When kindness is offered without limits, it can easily be misunderstood as weakness or a constant resource that is always available. This is why it's important to understand the true nature of kindness and how to practice it in a way that remains healthy and sustainable. Stoic philosophy teaches that true kindness is not about endless giving. It is about intentional giving that is rooted in personal values and balance. The Stoics believe that we should act based on our inner principles, not because we fear rejection or want approval from others. If kindness is given only to gain praise or avoid conflict, it becomes dependent on others' reactions. This leads to a pattern where we give, but we don't feel truly appreciated or respected. Marcus Aurelius, a famous Stoic philosopher, said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." This means that our actions reflect our inner beliefs. If we give kindness out of fear, we may find ourselves feeling drained and resentful. But if our kindness comes from a place of self-awareness, respect, and wisdom, it becomes a source of strength, not weakness. We give because it aligns with who we are and what we believe is right, not because we are afraid of disappointing others or seeking approval. Let's look at Emily, a mother who always puts her family's needs first. Emily sacrifices her own time and hobbies to make sure everyone else in her family is cared for. She cooks, cleans, drives the kids to activities, and makes sure her partner's happy, all while putting her own needs last. At first, her family appreciates her hard work. They recognize how much she does for them and thank her. But as time goes by, her sacrifices are no longer met with gratitude. Instead, they become an unspoken expectation. Emily's family starts to assume that she will always be there to take care of everything. One day, Emily decides that she needs to make time for herself. She sets aside one evening a week to do something just for her, whether it's reading, practicing yoga, or simply relaxing. Her family initially resists, not understanding why she needs this time. However, over time, they realize that this change not only benefits Emily, but also helps her be a better mother and partner. By taking care of herself, Emily is able to give more to her family in a way that is healthier and more sustainable. Her family learns the value of balance and the importance of self-care. Stoic philosophy reminds us that boundaries are not barriers. Rather, they are tools that help protect our mental health and maintain healthy relationships. Setting boundaries in our kindness means we are choosing when and how to give, rather than feeling like we must always say yes. Boundaries are a way of protecting ourselves from burnout and resentment, and they also teach others to value our contributions. When we set limits, we show others that our kindness is a gift, not an obligation. By setting boundaries, we give ourselves permission to take care of our own needs, just as we take care of others. This doesn't make us selfish. It makes us healthier and more effective in our kindness. When we are well-rested, balanced, and at peace with ourselves, we are better able to offer kindness that is genuine and meaningful. Without boundaries, kindness can become a burden, leaving us feeling drained and unappreciated. The key takeaway here is this: kindness should be practiced with purpose and balance. When you give, ask yourself, does this align with my values? Am I giving because I truly want to? Or is it because I fear disappointing someone? These questions help you assess your motivations and ensure that your kindness is authentic and not driven by fear or obligation. When we give with purpose and respect for our own well-being, our kindness remains a true gift. It becomes something that is appreciated and valued, rather than taken for granted. By setting boundaries and practicing intentional kindness, we protect ourselves from exhaustion and resentment. This approach not only benefits us, but it also helps teach others to value our contributions and respect our time and energy. In conclusion, kindness is most effective when it is given thoughtfully and with balance. By setting clear boundaries and practicing mindfulness, we can continue to offer kindness without feeling used or exhausted. True kindness is about giving in a way that honors both ourselves and others. 4. Turning kindness into a source of inner strength. Kindness is indeed a beautiful gift we offer to the world, one that has the power to bring light into the lives of others. It is a way we show care, compassion, and empathy. However, there are times when that very gift, which is meant to bring joy, can leave us feeling empty or hurt. Our kindness may be misunderstood, overlooked, or even taken for granted. It is in these moments that we may feel discouraged or unappreciated. But Stoic philosophy teaches us that these experiences should never deter us from being kind. In fact, they offer us an opportunity to cultivate an even deeper strength. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." These words remind us that the value of kindness isn't determined by how others perceive or react to it. True kindness is not contingent on external approval. Rather, it is grounded in our own moral principles and actions. When we give kindness from a place of inner strength, it becomes a part of who we are, and it cannot be shaken by the reactions of others. When kindness is rooted in our values and self-awareness, it becomes a lasting flame, one that cannot be extinguished by ingratitude or disregard. It remains unwavering, no matter how others respond. This approach to kindness allows us to give without attachment to outcomes, knowing that the act itself is meaningful, regardless of whether or not it is recognized or appreciated in the moment. Kindness, at its purest, is a balance between generosity and firm boundaries. It involves giving to others, but also knowing when to say no and protect our own well-being. This balance is crucial because kindness without boundaries can lead to burnout, resentment, or being taken for granted. By practicing kindness with boundaries, we ensure that we are giving from a place of abundance, not depletion. Empathy, at the heart of kindness, allows us to understand and share the feelings of others. However, when paired with reason, it helps us determine when to offer help and when to step back. Wise kindness is not about giving endlessly or without consideration for our own needs. It is about offering our time and energy in a way that is sustainable and respectful to both ourselves and others. When practiced with wisdom, kindness becomes more than just an act of generosity. It becomes an expression of our dignity and inner strength. Every act of kindness, when done thoughtfully and with purpose, reflects our commitment to living in accordance with our values. This is a key aspect of Stoicism, living with integrity and freedom, regardless of external circumstances. By embracing kindness in this way, we turn each act into a reminder of our own strength. When we offer kindness with no expectation of return, it empowers us to remain true to ourselves regardless of how others respond. This is the essence of living with freedom in Stoicism, acting in alignment with our values, regardless of external validation or circumstances. Stoic philosophy teaches us that true freedom comes from living in accordance with our principles, not being controlled by external events or the approval of others. Kindness, when practiced with wisdom and self-respect, aligns with this principle. It becomes a way for us to live with integrity, giving from a place of strength rather than obligation or fear. In conclusion, kindness is a gift that should be given with purpose and wisdom. It is not about pleasing others or seeking validation. It is about acting in alignment with our values and inner strength. By balancing generosity with boundaries and empathy with reason, we ensure that our kindness remains both meaningful and sustainable. In this way, kindness becomes not just a gift for others, but a reflection of our own dignity and inner strength.